As a former Goldman Sachs executive and the founder/CEO of Real Vision, Raoul Pal has built a reputation as a sharp, data-driven thinker in both the crypto and broader financial markets. He's a global macro investor who places heavy emphasis on market cycles, often referring to himself as the Raoul Pal market cycle arc. This makes sense considering his core belief that markets, like life itself, are inherently cyclical, moving from chaos to balance and back again. It's no surprise, then, that he's currently predicting another major upward move for XRP during this market cycle. Personally, I find Pal to be one of the most insightful and analytical voices in the financial space. He isn't easily swayed by hype. He's grounded in data and macro trends. That's also why I frequently share global M2 money supply and liquidity charts. Why? Because crypto almost always responds to shifts in liquidity, not always instantly, but with a strong correlation. And typically, when liquidity expands, crypto prices follow upward. So if we're entering another period of rising liquidity, it makes sense to anticipate further gains in digital assets like XRP. That said, I want to make it absolutely clear. I don't have a professional financial background, and nothing I say should be taken as investment advice. I'm simply a hobbyist who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto for fun. Just because I agree with Raoul Pal's take on certain things doesn't mean he's always right. No one is. He's a smart guy, but not infallible. For example, look at what he said back on August 21st, 2024. I remember covering this at the time. The headline read, "Raoul Pal says XRP fans are manipulated by a fanatic cult." Just a couple of months later, in early November 2017, XRP experienced a massive price surge, something he didn't see coming. In fact, in a widely circulated video, he advised people to move on from older coins like XRP and chase new narratives that he believed held more promise. His argument was that XRP had been stagnant for over 5 years and its time had passed. That surprised me, honestly, because he usually has a great understanding of market cycles. I would have expected him to see that when a coin like XRP is heavily undervalued compared to Bitcoin in the broader market, that's exactly when the greatest opportunities can emerge, especially during a bull market. This is typically the moment you'd anticipate a reversal. So yes, Pal got that call wrong. And that's okay. We all make mistakes. No one, not even the best analysts, can predict every move perfectly. He wasn't being malicious or biased, just incorrect on that occasion. Interestingly, since the election, XRP has outperformed every other coin in the top 100 by market cap, a result that contradicts his earlier dismissal of it. It just goes to show that even respected voices in the space can miss big moves. Ultimately, we're all learning, and sometimes luck plays a role in success too, and that's something we all have to accept. Everyone gets something wrong. Eventually, it's just part of being human. Mistakes happen, even to capable and knowledgeable people. If we didn't make errors or learn from them, how would we grow? Mistakes don't mean someone's incompetent. In this case, the person simply misjudged one thing. That's hardly a reason to label him a troll or accuse him of having some irrational hatred toward XRP. In fact, he actually owns XRP at least partially, which speaks volumes. What really matters is whether someone can admit when they're wrong. Trust hinges on honesty, not perfection. I want to trust someone more when they acknowledge their mistakes, not less. Everyone slips up. That's human. I mean, sure, I don't make many mistakes myself, being practically flawless, but even I get it. We all mess up now and then. The real problem is when someone refuses to admit fault and acts like nothing happened while everyone around them knows better. That damages credibility. But in this situation, his ego doesn't seem overblown, and he's clearly shown humility. He's owning a hand. That's how growth happens. Take what happened around December 1st, 2024. A blog post was made. I remember it. Clearly XRP hit around $2 that same day, soon reaching a local high of $2.90. From below, $0.49 just weeks earlier. That was a huge leap. So yes, it seems we were heading in that direction. By December 12th, I found myself admitting, Ripple XRP, you were right, I was wrong. That kind of acknowledgement matters. We've all been through rough patches. I still hold some XRP from the previous all-time highs. But you guys who stuck it out, you deserve every bit of success. The person I'm talking about got a lot of backlash, especially from toxic Bitcoin maximalists. The Bitcoin-only crowd can be so irrationally tribal. Being a maximalist in anything is short-sighted, yet it persists. I recall when Raul Pal had Santiago Velez on his show in December. Hal didn't know much about XRP at the time, but he was genuinely curious and open to learning. That kind of intellectual honesty matters. He even pushed back on the toxicity, basically saying, "You don't get to dictate what I can explore or talk about." That gave Santiago the platform to explain his XRP thesis to a broader audience. And it's worth noting Crypto Insight, UK wrote a compelling bullish case for XRP in Global Macro Investor. So clearly, Raul isn't anti-XRP. He just made one bad call. But by December 2nd, he realized the mistake and started digging into the data. My theory is that he misread the chart initially, or maybe didn't look closely enough. That's not the same as being dismissive. And when someone like Raul misses something, hindsight makes it look obvious, but that's always the case. On December 22nd, he tweeted an XRP/USD chart, admitting it looked strong. He noted that the last time it broke a long wedge, XRP surged 600%. While he didn't expect a repeat, he saw the potential for another leg up. That's huge. Headlines read things like, Raul Pal says XRP set for next climb. He shared this view in his Real Vision podcast, although someone mistakenly typed it as Rec Vision. That kind of sloppiness happens with rushed media, where they don't even check grammar before hitting publish. Anyway, Raul's podcast view contrasted with earlier bearish sentiment and pointed to Triple consolidating around 2A sign of potential breakout. A bull flag pattern formed, which typically indicates a continuation of the prior upward trend. We've seen this before. After Trump's 2016 election win, XRP rallied dramatically, jumping 580% from $0, $50 to $3, $40 by January 2017. That climb formed the original flagpole. After some resistance and a pullback, XRP dropped below $2, but has since recovered multiple times. Currently, we've been consolidating for months just like before. It's part of the pattern. We saw a similar move in 2020, from $0.20 to $0.80 in November, then to $2 by April. If that trend repeats, XRP could break out again very soon, pulling the whole crypto market along with it. That's why many believe XRP is finally entering true price discovery, something we haven't seen in over 7 years. And when it happens, people are going to be shocked. The updates keep rolling in, and according to Paul, XRP has been forming lower highs on the weekly chart, something that slightly favors the bears. Still, despite the fragile state of the market and the setbacks experienced by other cryptocurrencies, Paul remains steadfast in his belief that XRP is on the brink of a breakout. He insists this current level is an ideal entry point. He made this call originally on July 21st and reiterated it just last night while speaking in front of a room full of officials who, despite hearing it before, seemed as if they hadn't. With the benefit of hindsight and new insight surfacing the day after he feels that the government inadvertently reinforced his outlook, specifically on September 19th. So, what's the real takeaway in a story compelling enough for one of Ireland's most iconoclastic politicians to address again? The benefit of believing in his theory lies in the observation that XRP continues to show clustered momentum on the charts. As is often the case, he shifted the focus to how markets wrap up in different parts of the world, noting that a market may conclude in one region but simultaneously spark life elsewhere. Without tangible proof like money in hand or blockchain receipts, his view remains more of a philosophical stance. These tales, he says, are for those flipping pages and making desperate sales, not for those quietly reading emails. Interestingly, although he's known to be critical of XRP, he's never been outright dismissive without reason. His views are opinions, not gospel, and he's not the asset itself.